Hi. Welcome to the Human Design for Marketing podcast. I'm your host, Yvette Mayer, and this show's for you if you're done with cookie cutter marketing and ready to build your personal brand in alignment with who you really are. Let's dive in. Hello and welcome back to the Human Design for Marketing podcast. Welcome if this is your very first time listening. I'm excited you have discovered the podcast. Or if you're a regular, I so appreciate you being here, and watching all those downloads every week certainly motivates me to bring you the magic. And this episode is going to be no exception. I have a bit of a cracker for you. In the past, I've run a series of episodes where we look at gates and placements in relationship to things like your messaging, your ideal audience, where you can find abundance in your chart, to name a few. In this episode, I'm going to bring a couple of these things together. And that is because my goal is to empower you to move towards your ambitions. And I know my audience very well. I know your business owners who are marketing your business largely online, but in other ways as well, whether that's referrals or networking, depending on your profile. And that your biggest goal is growing demand for what you offer, as in attracting clients more consistently, more easily, and therefore not just creating more fulfillment in what you do, but also scaling your impact and with that, your income. I know this is your greatest desire. And with that, you are also somebody who is spiritually inclined, and you don't want to do marketing in any way that doesn't feel amazing for you. You need to have an approach that feels very aligned to who you are on the inside. And that's what has brought you into Human Design for Marketing and this podcast. I know this for sure. So in this episode, we are going to be really focusing on the biggest things that you can do to go from potentially struggling with engagement or demand to really accelerating your ability to magnetize clients into your world. All right. What we're talking about in particular is the very first couple of steps in effective marketing. And that is number one, having a crystal clear understanding of who your ideal client, or let's say who your audience is, so that you're attracting the right people to convert the right people within that audience into becoming your customers and clients. Okay. So how do we do this? How do we really clarify exactly who we're here to serve and then attract those people? So there's two very important things that I'm going to cover in this conversation. And that is that clarity of your audience can be found inside your Bodygraph, but also why that is so important for you. And the second one is making sure that you are unlocking your soul's communication, what you are here to speak into the world. Because these two things together, audience and message, they are absolutely fundamental to your ability to attract clients, right? So let's start with your audience. And yes, I hear this all the time. Like, I think I'm talking to the right people. I'm not sure if I'm clear enough. Maybe I am getting it wrong because I'm not attracting clients as quickly as I would like. Questions, wheels spinning. I've been there. I've absolutely been there. And I have this to say to you. No matter what type you are, really getting into your audience beyond their demographics. So fine, start with what sex are they? What life stage? Do they have a business? Do they not have a business? Do they have children? I mean, that's life stage, but you know what I mean? Like the demographic qualifiers. Yes, that's nice to know. But the things you really need to understand is, what do they desire that they don't have now? What do they truly desire that they don't have now that you can help them solve for? You need to know what is stopping them from having it. So what are the blocks? What are the internal blocks they have? Is it something to do with their belief systems? Is it other kinds of external blocks? Is it they can't afford to invest in what they need to, or they have people in their life who are not giving them the encouragement, whatever that looks like for them? It's usually internal, let's be honest. What is stopping them having those desires? Okay. And you might want to try and peel back a layer, because they will be aware of what is stopping them having what they want on a conscious level, but at a deeper level, at an unconscious level, they may not. And when you connect into these unconscious things, then you're going to ramp up the magnetic force of your messaging even further when we get to messaging. So this looks like working with your body graph to understand your own journey from the low frequency or the shadow frequency of some particular gates, because they are going to be drawn towards you because they see themselves in your energy. So inside your body graph, I would be looking at your personality sun. This is who you externally are in the world. This is how people experience you. So what is the shadow state of your personality sun? When you really connect into that, you will see not only yourself in this low frequency, but you're also going to see that you regularly show up in the high frequency or the gift state of this gate. Now, this is the gate at the top right of your body graph, right? Now, inside this spectrum from low to high, there is a lot of information that you can connect into to better understand your ideal client, because they want to go from the low to the high. There's going to be beliefs in here. There's going to be words and connection points that are going to help you. The same can be said of a few other key placements in your chart. Your design Mars is an absolutely powerful one in the gene keys. This actually reveals what you're here to do for work in the world, but also what is your greatest block from realizing that. And guess what? Your clients are going to have a very similar story. They're going to relate to that shadow or that block that you have. And when you message to that journey from the block of that gate, left-hand side Mars, design Mars, they are going to also see themselves in that transformation. So another clear place to look at for who is your ideal audience. Another couple, I'm not going to go into them in as much detail, is your Uranus, because this shows you what your differentiation is. So what dream clients, ideal clients, target audience is going to be attracted to, because differentiation is everything in marketing when everybody is the same. Fun fact, I have the 48 in my Uranus, which means that I am all about depth. So I make sure, I have line 1 as well, so I make sure to truly, deeply understand my subject matter, and that is very attractive to the people that are looking for someone just like me. Talking about attraction, your design moon in the gene keys is your attraction field. So go and have a look at what your design moon is. That is how you naturally attract. My moon is all about determination. And when I learned this, I'm like, oh, I don't really talk about how determined I am as much as I could in my marketing. So that's really important, knowing that my ideal audience are actually attracted to my determination. There's a lot here to unpack, which is why I have built my ultimate audience clarity activation, which is available now for just $27. That goes into a full training on this topic, but even better than that, the absolute ultimate ChatGPT mega prompt that is going to do all of this work for you. Like, you just need to put the gates in, look at your chart, put the gates in, and it is going to give you pages of information and insight about who you are actually designed to serve. So go to the description in the podcast if you want that. Cannot recommend it enough. Okay, so you know who your audience is. This means you can start communicating in a way that they think you're reading their mind. This is what takes you from people scrolling on past that are your dream clients to them thinking, she's inside my head. Gosh, she knows exactly what I'm going through. She's been there and look where she is now. She's the perfect person for me to learn from. And it's also because you understand what is making you most attractive in this audience exercise. It's also going to be presented authentically and uniquely in that way that only you can with your Bodygraph and your design to shine through. Absolutely unlocks magnetism. Okay, so we're at this point where you know who your audience is. This one step, fundamental, changes everything. Okay. Second part is, once you've done this, is really clarifying your message so that it is written or communicated in a way that absolutely connects to those ideal clients of yours and grows their demand for what you have to offer. Huge. Now, messaging, a little bit different than talking about content or copy. Messaging is a platform or a hierarchy that you want to set as part of your brand. It's very strategic. And again, the key messages that are unique and magnetic for you, they're inside your Bodygraph. It has all the wisdom, so much wisdom. Now, the two most important placements for messaging, we've already talked about personality sun. 100% you want to start there. This is who you are as a personal brand. If you don't know so much about human design, there are 64 gates, bit like in astrology where there are 12 star signs, but 64. So in astrology, the planet or the sign changes every month. In human design, the gate changes every 5 or 6 days, 64 days. So it's more refined and defined. And it's the same scenario. The day you were born is your personality sun gate, okay? So mine is the 3, 21st of April, fun fact. And the 3 is about difficulty at the beginning in the low frequency and innovation in the high frequency. This is me. This is my entire experience of life and business. In fact, it's at the point now where if it was easy at the beginning, I'd know there was something wrong. And it also means that I'll never be as powerful in the way that I connect and support you because I haven't been through the challenges that others will experience. So I see it as a real advantage, okay? Now, my messaging needs to reference that, and I've just done it right now. Like, I've literally just done that in the way I showed you and shared this with you. So that's the first placement. The next one is your personality Mercury. Your Mercury is the channel of communication, and yes, this is your soul's message. And now, I happen to have both my personality sun and my personality Mercury in the same gate. So I have this double whammy. So that just means that I am consistently talking about that journey from challenge or difficulty to innovation and beyond innovation into lightness and fun and play. Whereas if you have, and you may very well, most people have different gates in their sun versus their Mercury. If that's you, you're going to have 2 different elements to build out your messaging, okay? So these are the most important placements. But messaging is also very affected by your overall energy. So it's going to be affected by your type as well. So from a messaging perspective, you want to really be thinking about your type and your strategy. So what I mean by that is, if you're a generator or a manifesting generator, when you're creating your messaging, it needs to feel like it's lighting you up and that it's very satisfying in the way that you're bringing it through. And I'm talking about how you communicate it and the platforms that you're on. Even if it's short-term painful, it needs to be very satisfying over the longer term. Like you have that sense of, I know this is worth it, okay? You also want to be creating messaging in response to what's coming towards you, not in isolation. If you're a projector, you need to make sure that you're channeling guidance and wisdom in your messaging, and that you're always aware of what type of communication feels like success for you. This is a key indicator. When you are in that energy, you're going to find you get a lot of invitations into different opportunities. If you're a manifester, listen to your urges. Your urges will help you decide what's important to speak to. And you want to make sure that you're just not swapping streams when you get these urges, but that you are taking your audience on that journey with you. So you're giving them a little bit of a warning when a new direction is coming. There's a lot of fieriness in your manifester power. If you're a reflector, you want to be deeply tuning in to your audience and coming at your messaging from a place of reading their mind. I mean, that would be great for all of us, but reflectors have more perceptive power than any other type. So connecting into this. So see how your type really affects your messaging as well, overall, but also as you're creating content. And then the other piece that you cannot ignore in messaging is your profile lines. In particular, your profile lines help you amplify your powers of influence. I've always talked about this in my work, that your profile lines are signposts towards the types of communication and messaging that will grow your influence. And influence is closely related to decision making. And that's why influencers get paid the big bucks. When somebody speaks with authority and they are influential, we are drawn to them. And that's what we want to be doing in our messaging. So a few clues from your profile lines. If you are a line 1, you want to be sharing the depth of your knowledge. You want to make sure that in your messaging, you're going into a lot of detail. That could look like longer content. That could look like masterclasses. And you're also doing it from an energy of authority. You do all of the work, the research, you have the depth. So make sure you own that and you claim that and you speak with authority. If you're a line 2, you have to be careful of navigating that out external facing part of you and I just want to hibernate. So a couple of clues on this one is when you are feeling, it's usually your other profile line is pulling you out, when you're feeling that and you have a spark, create more than one piece of content or message or activate more messaging from that place and put the systems and the structures in place and the processes so that you can repurpose content, pull things out and extend the life of what you've created. And you want to try different strategies. So maybe you're using paid ads, for example, to give you some space to go into your cave. If you have a line 3, well, yeah, you're out there living life to the full, making the mistakes, falling down, getting back up again. And we want to hear about your war stories, of course, with the ultimate outcomes that you've realized that really attracts us into you. You are relatable. Be honest, be open, share the truth, and you will find that your audience is very receptive. If you have a line 4, you are the social butterfly. And I always say this to my line 4 clients, you actually want to use social media to be social, to hang out in the DM, to comment on other people's posts, to invite conversation into your stories. It's not about broadcasting as much as it is keeping that conversation going. If you're a line 5, it's quite the opposite. You want to broadcast. You love being on stage. You prefer speaking to a large audience versus one-on-one. So that looks like being on a stage, whether that's a virtual stage or your own social media soapbox, broadcasting videos, things like that. And also you are somebody who loves problem solving. So you want to showcase that you understand your audience's problems and you have the solutions that they seek. And then my line 6s, you're the guides or the role models, and you are here really to teach and empower others with your grounded, balanced view on what success really looks like. So make sure you're showing up and teaching and educating. So that brings me to where you can find more insight in your Bodygraph in regards to messaging. Quite a lot there, but the good news is, very good news, hot off the press. I spoke already about the ultimate audience clarity activation, which many of you have already got. This week, I added a whole nother activation, which is exactly what I've just taken you through. Another video, another workbook, and another epic or mega ChatGPT prompt inside the original product. So now, if you've already bought it, you will be able to log into my Kajabi platform and you will have a whole another bonus training and ChatGPT prompt. It's all about magnetic messaging by design. I know. Early feedback is holy freaking cow. And if you haven't got either and you've been seeing me talking about it and thinking, I don't know, please do yourself a favor. You are going to get so much clarity and confidence, and I want you to succeed. And to me, the thing that I can do that is the fastest, simplest way to get you from low engagement to attracting clients is to give you the tools to align your body, your energy, and your frequency with your target audience and the way that you message them. When you get these two things right, the game changes. I am my own case study. 2 years ago, honestly, I wanted to quit because even though I have 30 years of marketing experience, 30 years, my content was falling flat. I couldn't understand how this had happened. And it wasn't until I started working with my human design, not just from a, yay, I'm living in alignment perspective, but how do I actually apply this to every part of my marketing, that things started to change. And today it's unrecognizable. You would know this because you're here listening to me. You've felt this in my frequency. You've seen this in the level of interaction that I get on every channel. Like my business has exploded on every front because this is my own process. And I'm giving this to you for $27 and you'd be crazy. Yes, this episode sounds like a sales pitch, but it's actually coming from my heart to yours to say, you can listen to everything I've got to say, take notes and go and figure this out yourself, or you can spend this very small amount of money and have your mind blown by these products that are so freaking game changing. Okay, that was a lot. It's a big episode. I have been asking in the Facebook group for topics for future episodes this week. So I have a whole list and there's a few things coming that you're going to want to be listening out for. I think the next episode I do is going to be talking about the value of your unconscious gates, all of those planetary placements on your marketing. That sounds like fun to me. I also think it's about time that we did a really big dive into the profile lines. So that will be coming up soon as well. So I look forward to being back in your ears sometime soon. Bye for now. There are heaps more resources in the show notes. I can't wait to be back in your ears again soon. Bye for now.